people who abandon the faith. It's a very big movement today in our world. Understandably, I get it. I know why there are so many defectors from Christianity, so many who are calling themselves ex-evangelicals or ex-Vs or Christian deconstructionists or hashtag empty the pews or whatever else. The reason there are so many is because there are so many false Christians.
There's a people who are Christian in name only. Religious people who see being a Christian as nothing more than being a part of a social group. They attend church. They sometimes say a prayer at dinner. But other than that, there's no big difference between them and a worldly person. They have a minimalist approach to their faith. They claim to be Christians, yet they willfully partake in the world. And this is popular Christianity. This is what you see on TV. And for many people, their faith is based on works instead of having a changed life through Jesus Christ, who gives us a new heart, obedience to His word, and a love for Him. They become self-seeking, and the Lord never truly has their heart. People can see the hypocrisy. They see that their lives aren't really changed, like the gospel they profess. And it causes people to simply leave.
There are heretical churches where the gospel is not taught, the deity of Christ is not believed. Modern liberal churches, we might call them. People sit in those churches not knowing the truth. And because there's no truth there, and there's no life there, and there's no power there, they fade away. It's not the real Jesus. It's not the real God. It's not the true gospel. It's not the true revelation. You have the Roman Catholic Church with millions of people connected to an organization, but not to the Lord. You have the mega church with its entertainment and shallowness that sucks up huge crowds of non-believers who may think they're Christians, but who have been exposed only to entertainment. The ultimate result of this proliferation of superficial Christianity is you have lots of candidates for spiritual deconstruction.
You hear about these ex-Christians and ex-evangelicals claiming that they're woke, verbally attacking the church, slandering God's name, the Lord they once followed, when it's now clear they were never one of us. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have continued with us. But they went out, that it might become plain that they are all not of us. They walked with the Lord. On the inside, they didn't have actual faith or trust in the Lord. They were never true believers at all. They gradually grew uncomfortable and rejected Christianity. The Lord predicted that there would be a falling away, an abandonment of God's truth.
They talk about things like, I had a bad experience at church. Somebody abused me. Somebody was unkind to me. There were too many hypocrites. I didn't like the pastor. It was a hassle to try to be who I am. They wouldn't accept me the way I was. I feel mistreated. There was racism. There was misogyny. There was homophobia. There was Christian nationalism. And I even read several articles that said people left evangelicalism because evangelicals vote for Donald Trump. It all comes down to the words, not to emotional experiences, not to music, not to good feelings, not to sentimentalism. If you believe the words, you stay. If you resent the words, you leave.
When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in his heart. This is what was sown along the path. As for what was sown on rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy, yet he has no root in himself, but endures for a while. And when tribulation or persecution arises on account of the word, immediately he falls away. As for what was sown among thorns, this is the one who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and it proves unfruitful.
They deny the Lord they once avowed. They leave the Lord they once followed. No need to wait for judgment for them. They declare themselves to have rejected the Christian faith. In the past, you would be shunned, you would be isolated, you would be treated like a pariah, like a Judas. But today, you can go on the internet and find tens of thousands of friends who will applaud you as a hero, the same as they do those who are caught up in the lie of transgender behavior. There's plenty of support for what's wrong.
God made it clear for anyone who receives the truth and then abandons it, that if we go on sinning deliberately after receiving the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins, but a fearful expectation of judgment and a fury of fire that will consume the adversaries.
Because where Christianity isn't the real thing, where life is not really transformed, all the promises end up empty. If you deliver false promises, people are going to pretty soon discover it. And time and truth go hand in hand, and eventually, given enough time, the truth will come out and everybody will be exposed and everything collapses.
The ex-Christian's departure from God is a tragic victory of sin in their lives. Authentic Christians do struggle with sin, but they prevail.
And you can find a welcoming community of bloggers and podcasters and books and conferences. And you can meet, once you're out and you're among the Christian defectors and the ex-evangelicals, you can find some of your favorite pastors there and some of your favorite Christian musicians there and some of your, guess what, favorite church leaders there. And you can find feminists there and homosexuals there and anti-church critics. And they'll declare you a hero. And you'll be elevated. And you will also join aggressive enemies of God. Because you have chosen in the end to join those who crucified Christ.